show me a team with a strong standard, and I can confidently say they've been through some shit. And that's kind of where your standards get strengthened and tested and all those good things, and that's exactly where we are. And as I told the team, for all of us, man, like we can dig and get more. That's game day and really every day. That's more speed, that's more focus, and players and coaches, man, we can for sure do that. It's doing the small things at a world-class level, and where we are, nothing to me is too small. And so there's our opportunity to elevate. And individually as a team, that's our focus, where we're at and how we want to go after it. So that's kind of what I started our, returning from the bye messaging, and I wanted to share that with you as we get started. And it was cool to be back out on the practice field today and get rolling again. We all needed that space, and now it's time to go again. So that said, I'll open it up with you guys, and we can get rolling to start the week.
John Keim.
Hey, Dan, I know you want to focus on what's right now, but with Jaden Daniels, reports out, going to be returning to practice this week. I'm just curious what you can tell about what he'll be able to do this week.
Yeah, it has been good. He will be able to return to practice. We had our first session today, but Johnny has not been cleared for contact. So, he'll probably be unlikely to play. But, man, it's good to get started and get the return to play going. So that's a big deal for us.
And how important is it for you to see him back out there playing again this year?
I think it's important as Jaden's getting going, learning to play like this position at the highest level competitively, also doing it safely. And those are reps, that you develop as well. It's a skill just like throwing and processing. And so all those things are important. But him included, it was awesome today to have everyone really back at practice, John, including 3 guys that were in their 21-day window, and too early to call a lot of the guys, for the game. But getting on the field and having the guys here, John, that was a big deal, man, to have that many. It's been a long time since I've said that out loud of everybody's here and working. That's for sure.
Nikki?
Assuming that includes Terry McLaurin, kind of what is his trajectory? Where's he at?
Yeah, it was good to see him, man. That smile lit up, and so it wasn't like a full speed hauling ass day, Nikki, but that's kind of what we're hoping the progression for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday looks like for he and some of his teammates. But he's really worked hard, and so to see us take the next step, like we'll see where it takes us. But it was awesome to have him out there today. I'm excited for him.
And for all those guys, I'm sure the injuries have been frustrated, especially for them. What have you seen from them as they've mentally dealt with it? And then what do you need to see from them to know that they're ready for the final stretch here? Yeah,
for some of the guys, when you've been out for a while, it definitely takes some resilience, Nikki, because especially when there's like a different injury or a re-injury, because that's the easy space to go down the dark spot where it's why again or those things. And so you want to check, mentally where they're at and make sure the things they now can control are this part of the rehab and healing and getting better. And so I knew they would come. But when you're in the thick of it, sometimes it can be hard to see, just on the other side, of the street. But for those guys in specific, knowing they're back doing what they love to do and back on the field, it's a big step, and it definitely adds a lift.
Tom?
Dan, sorry, just to clarify, so those 3 guys would be Terry, Noah, and Will Harris?
Correct. Yep. Nope. The 3 in the window are Noah, Will Harris, and Drake.
Right. Okay. Cool. And then kind of on a macro level, I'm sure you took part of the bye to kind of look back at how the first 11 weeks of the season went. When you look back, kind of at yourself, your own performance and messaging or certain decisions you made, what's something that you took away from that review?
Yeah, there's a lot. Honestly, Tom, when you go back through, because you want to make sure you're digging in on the right things and the right mindsets. And so I want to find out, where are the mistakes? And you want to answer, okay, do you know where they are? Are they fixable? Okay, and yes and no's are, answers to those. And then here's the process that you have to go through to do that, because, as the difference on those winning and losing comes down to these, differences that you need to do. So I wanted to dig back in hard. I asked a lot of collaboration with the coaches as well, in their opinion. So I wasn't just going to make it my point of view. I wanted to collaborate as strongly as I could, Tom, to make sure that everybody had a voice in this, and also like how we plan on, moving forward with real resolve and making sure the practices, the standards that we want are really being met. That's why I discussed it with the team too.
David Aldridge.
Dan, you mentioned Will. I know it's about 2 weeks into his window. I just wonder, is he able to do everything now, and how does it look for him for Sunday, and if not Sunday, the following week?
Yeah, it looks good, Dave. And the reason being, like you said, he was chomping at the bit even before we started. He worked really hard to get himself back to it. And then it was really about the movements, the conditioning, and those things. And so had the week out in Spain as well of full-on practice to go, and then more conditioning, more movements this past week. And then we're very optimistic heading into this week for him and all that he's done to get himself ready to go.
Dan, it looked like, against Miami, maybe there was a little bit more zone than normal, and I just wonder if that's correct or incorrect. You can correct me either way. And what you saw from your defense in that game that you can build upon for the next 6.
Yeah, I would say there was a little bit more on certain parts of the field, Dave. That's accurate in terms of the zone. Some of that's game plan with the shifts and the motions as well, in terms of Miami. But down in the low red zone, that's probably what I was most excited about, honestly, with the team of just, man, like trying to impose your will. I can think of the, play by Kinlaw, and then the 2 linebackers, Wagner and Luvu, on a pass 4th down stop. So down in the low red zone, that's what I was most excited to see with the defense, the energy, the toughness to go just battle for it, man. Those were some cool things for me. Still working to, we got to create takeaways. That has to be part of it. We thought we had some chances too. We didn't nail that, but that's going to be a big part of it too. I've not been one DA to say, they come in bunches and those things. Like, no, you have to work at it. You got to go get them. And they're not, freebies that you can get. So that's what I'm looking to dig into more. But I liked the attitude that I saw from some of the guys for sure.
JP.
Hey, Dan, so with Harris, you said you're really optimistic. What's the optimism level with McLaurin for this Sunday?
I'll have a better answer for you, JP, later, only because I've seen Will a little bit longer. But I would say this, man, I'm excited about, the possibilities because of his speed and how he's moving. And so those are big steps, JP. And so maybe I saw Will already do it, the full speed spots at practice, come back and do it again. And so that's the space that we need to see from Terry, and repeat it. And so once I see that, then I'll let the optimism, grow stronger. But let's take us through those 2 steps first.
Thank you. And then I'm curious. Obviously, the season hasn't gone the way you wanted, but with these last 6 games, how important for you is it to try to get the team? I mean, you and Adam built this team to be a playoff contender, right? Like, how important is it for you to see that group perform at that level?
Yeah, I want to see us not working to that. I want that to be the standard as we move forward this game, the next game, and on. None of the trajectory. I'm saying, like, let's nail these standards that we're looking for. The good news that I would say, like, JP, like, this is a cool group, man. And so a lot of fight, a lot of attitude, and there's been some opportunities for some new faces and some new spots. And I don't take those lightly either. When guys want to demonstrate, I can step up, I can make this move, I can do the next thing, whether they were here prior or new to the club. And so I think I'm just excited, man, to get rolling with some of the guys and hopefully have a few on their way back as well. So it's a big deal for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Scott.
Hey, Dan, piggybacking off JP's question, that playoff standard, like, what will that look like to you the final 6 games? So what do you want to see, actually on the field that makes you believe, all right, we're going in the right direction?
Yeah, I wanted to see us eliminate some of these things that have been tripping us up, Scott. So I'm talking about turnover margins. I'm talking about, eliminating the false starts, the pre-snap penalties. When I was kind of referring to earlier, like, these little things done at a world-class level. It may not show up on the stat sheet in that way, Scott, but I'll know that. I'll see the speed, I'll see the intensity, I'll see the execution. those are some of the things that I'm looking forward to seeing us do, and not except for this or except for that play, but just consistently doing that spot together. That's what, I'm aiming to see, and I want to see that, on the regular, not up for a half, down, like literally this is how we get down, and this is what I'm looking for on the regular.
You mentioned how important it is for Jaden to get some reps to play again. How about from just the evaluation standpoint of all the offensive pieces together playing with Jaden, because the reps, unfortunately, have been few and far between this season. So going into the offseason, how important is it to have Jaden and everybody on the field together just so you can get a really clean and true evaluation going in the offseason?
Yeah, you want to really push one another, Scott, to see where you can take it. You want to find the things that you want to improve upon, and that's really what, you're always looking for. Can I raise it to here? Can I raise it to here? For Jaden specifically, it's like obviously playing QB at the very highest, most competitive level, and also, doing it as safe as you possibly can. And so there's a skill that goes with that too, Scott. And that goes, at quarterback and then raising our level at other spots. So it's important, man, to put this mesh together. And we got a lot of things that we want to work on. And so that's why I don't want to go in 6 weeks. To me, it's 6 weeks. There's a big difference there in how we go about it and what that looks like. And I'm looking forward to doing that. This group's one that I'm fully expecting us to level up.
Thanks, Dan.
Howard?
Hi, Dan. You said Jaden's unlikely to play against Denver. Do you have in mind kind of a calendar or an expectation for when you think you'll see him on the field in a game? And was there at any point any consideration at all to saying, let's shut him down?
Yeah, the first part, Howard, I would say I didn't have a long-term space until you got more spots from the doctors, meaning how's the healing coming, where is that going to go, the extension and flexion of the elbow. So once we knew that was headed in the right direction, then that, it would kind of take care of itself. When, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that part I don't know, and I still don't have all the answers on that. That's kind of how the player heals and where he's at. And then as far as that's not something we really discussed internally. The first part for us, honestly, Howard, was like, hey, how are we going to get the player better? And let's dig in on that first, not knowing the exact time frame. So that's really where the focus was, right away and right off the bat. We knew we had the bye coming, and then we'd have a chance to regroup and huddle up and, kind of push from there.
And now going into what would be your second game, calling the defense.
Yep.
How have you seen that change your kind of day-to-day preparation as you get ready to face a new team?
Yeah, it definitely has to change, Howard, and that's something I've had some experience with, but you're exactly right. And so who do I lean on in some other spots, and even change around some other roles on the staff? We're fortunate with staff that we're able to do that. But as opposed to just adding on, how could we maneuver some things around so we could utilize, kind of the best of all the things. So that's this past week honestly gave me some extra time to do that. What did I like about the previous week? Where did I feel, hey, this needs to be shifted over? So it gave me some spots, Howard, I would say, going through the actual week to say, this could help on Friday. This could help in game. And so it gave me some spaces to go through there. As far as the calling of it, I think that felt familiar. It's chaos. I love that. Like, that's where I'd rather kind of thrive into that space. That's kind of what like being on defense is about, and solving this, changing that. And so I like the challenge of doing that together. But I did have to change some things around during the week to help the team the best. And I'll continue to tweak that as I need to, during the week.
Thank you.
Deshaun?
Hey, Dan. I know with Jaden, obviously, he's had a few injuries this season, and kind of with, the state of the team right now, some have questioned, bringing him back, if maybe the playoffs, are a long shot or not, if it's a smart move. I guess for you as a head coach, when it comes to, kind of reaffirming the culture that you're building, how important is it to the guys to, continue to give them the best shot to go out there and win, even if, the odds are sort of stacked against you in the big picture?
Yeah, that part of it, I get the questions. I get all of that. You're just going to try to do what's best, man. First best for the player, and then going into the team, and we'll certainly do that. Like, we know what we're looking to do and how we want to do it, but by no means, Tayshaun, are we careless, about that. And so it's important, not just for Jaden, but important for our entire team. These are the standards and things we want to go after, and so collectively, we do think of that. Our sport only has 17 of these, and that's different than some of the other sports where we really want to dig in, and these are your best, the very best of spaces to improve and get better. And so anytime we can do that, we should certainly try to do that, but I recognize the question, no doubt.
All right, we got time for two more. Let's go Candy and then Ben.
Hey, Coach. You kind of touched on this a little bit in some of your responses to others' questions, but, last year we talked a lot about, and earlier this year as well, a lot about the commander standard and what it means to be a Washington Commander.
Yep.
So now that you all have gone through and going through some adversity here,
yes,
what have you kind of really seen as very important to that kind of framework of what it means to be a Washington Commander?
Yeah, so much of it is mindset, Candy, isn't it? About when you're going through the hard things to say, all right, how's this mindset going to be? And when I was kind of referring to like the little things, it's not like you want to heighten them, and it's not a matter of letting them slip. It's a matter of like the extra attention that it goes, and really there doesn't have to be anything that's too small to go into that. The things that come to the top of my mind for me are kind of the winning time moments and the focus during there. That's a big piece of this, to make sure whether that's a fourth down, a 2-minute, an end of the game, those ones to where it goes from focus to the hyper focus. And you got to practice it. And I like the competition at practice. So having more guys back into practice, Candy, that's a big deal for me, because now that's more competition, more spaces to go do that. And so that's a big deal. But yeah, there's definitely as much gets revealed in the difficult times, and you want to watch, you want to, see how certain people are reacting, and knowing, okay, there's a person that's down for it. When the chips are down and they're like absolutely going for it, you do learn a lot. It sucks to go through it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But what I'd said earlier, you show me like a strong, confident team, and there's an excellent chance they went through something challenging, something tough along the way. I think that's teams, that's people, that's a lot of things that go through it. But I want that warrior mindset, looking for the competition, at every space, and knowing that somebody's ready to get down, like every time we go.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Dan, if I heard you correctly earlier, it sounded like you were saying that you guys are obviously focusing on winning this game and not worrying about playing younger guys more than normal, whatever you think you need to do to win this game. You had the opportunity in the last game to play Johnny Newton a bit more with Duran out, but he still kind of didn't play the majority of the snaps next to Kinlaw. What do you kind of need to see from Johnny, understanding that Duran and Javon are playing well? What do you need to see more from him this year or down the stretch to get more playing time, but to feel comfortable or more confident with him going forward?
Yeah, I would say it's one of the strengths of the defense is the DTs, and Johnny's right in the middle of that. I like Ben that he's been disruptive, as a pass rusher, getting upfield to go, and so that to me was a big piece of it. Sometimes the game plan works out that way, like you're playing more of a 5 down front, or how do you want to go about it? But there was nothing regarding game planning more or less. But I do love the quickness that he's playing with and the disruption. And I think he's a guy that can cause havoc. And so that's what I want to see this week and every other, over the rest of the season, of him doing those things together. We're good for one more if you want, Charlie. Dealer's choice. Oh, nope, no repeats.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Nikki, you had a clarifying one?
Charlie.
Yeah. You mentioned, Howard, that you changed some roles. Were these like formal changes, or is this referring to just leaning more on Brian Johnson and Dave Gardy? Or
yes, informal, Nikki. Yes, sorry, I should have clarified that. Yeah, just on the staff, what can shift in a game when I'm with the defense? How do I go back in a meeting? Who might hit on one topic differently than I might have. So there's small shifts, but ones that I needed too, because I knew for me to be at my best, these few things could go to other people as well. So yeah, I should have clarified that earlier.